Everybody wants to be a beast until it's time to do what beasts do. Everybody talks about being hungry, about being obsessed, about chasing greatness. But when it's time to actually put in the work with no cameras, no audience, no applause, 99% of people crumble. They crumble because they were never built on a foundation of self-respect. They were built on a foundation of needing others to notice them, needing someone else to say, "Good job," needing someone else to validate their struggle. But greatness isn't built on attention. It's built in the darkness. It's built when nobody even cares what you're doing. It's built when you're out there grinding with no end in sight, no trophies waiting, no cheering section, just the voice in your head telling you to keep going when everything inside you is begging you to quit. There's a reason why most people will never touch greatness. It's because most people are wired to perform only when there's something immediate to gain. They need the dopamine hit. They need the quick reward. They chase temporary recognition instead of eternal pride. They chase being known instead of being great. And because of that, they never last. They burn bright for a moment, but they don't burn long. A savage, a real savage, understands that the brightest flames are built slowly. They're built in silence. They're built through repetition, through discipline, through consistency, when the world has forgotten your name. You don't need to be seen to be working. You don't need a post, a story, a video, a compliment. You need to look in the mirror every morning and know that you're doing what you said you would do. That's it. That's where greatness is found. Every day there's a war happening inside your own head. It's a war between the version of you that wants to stay comfortable and the version of you that wants to dominate. And every single day that you decide to show up and put in the work without expecting anything back from the world, you're winning that war. Every time you suffer in silence, every time you do the hard thing with nobody watching, you're building something that can't be broken. That's the stuff that lasts. That's the stuff that nobody can take away from you because it was built in pain, it was built in struggle, it was built in solitude. You want to be somebody who leaves a mark. You want to be somebody whose name is whispered long after you're gone. Then you better get real good at doing the work when no one gives a damn. You better learn to love those moments when it feels like nobody cares, because those are the moments that are giving you an edge. Those are the moments that the pretenders aren't willing to face. Everybody wants to win when the lights are on, but almost nobody is willing to bleed when it's pitch black, when nobody is applauding, when nobody even knows your name. That's the test. That's the separator. That's what builds true savages. You have to fall in love with being unseen. You have to fall in love with being underestimated. You have to fall in love with putting in thousands of unseen reps, with pushing yourself deeper and deeper into that dark place where only you exist, where only you can hear your own suffering. That's where your real self is carved out. That's where your real strength is forged. It's not sexy. It's not glamorous. It's not something you can post about. It's ugly. It's painful. It's lonely. But that's where the transformation happens. People think success is about talent. People think success is about who's the smartest, who's the most gifted, who's the most connected. That's all bullshit. Success is about who can suffer the longest in silence. Success is about who can keep hitting the pavement day after day after day without the world clapping for them. It's about who can keep pushing when the only reward is looking in the mirror and knowing you didn't quit. The world doesn't owe you a round of applause. The world doesn't owe you recognition. If you're waiting for that, you've already lost. You've already given up your power. Every savage knows the truth. The truth is that you earn your respect in the unseen hours. You earn it when you're dripping in sweat at 4 a.m., when everyone else is sleeping. You earn it when you're running in the cold, in the rain, when your body is screaming for you to turn back. But your soul is screaming louder, telling you to keep moving forward. You earn it when you push through the days where motivation is dead, where your body is shot, where your mind is exhausted, and you show up anyway because you made a promise to yourself. That's when you become different. That's when you separate yourself from the average, from the mediocre, from the quitters. Nobody's going to see the nights you cry yourself to sleep because you're so damn tired but you refuse to quit. Nobody's going to see the mornings where you can barely get out of bed, but you lace up your shoes anyway. Nobody's going to see the silent battles, the inner wars, the moments where you almost break, but you don't. And that's okay. You don't need them to. You need you. You need your own approval. You need your own validation. You need to build that savage inside of you that doesn't give a damn about being seen. That savage doesn't work for claps. That savage works because the work itself is the reward. Every second you spend wishing for recognition is a second you could be working on becoming undeniable. Every minute you waste waiting for someone to notice is a minute you could be putting in the work that makes you bulletproof. Stop chasing the spotlight. Stop chasing approval. Chase the struggle. Chase the grind. Chase the discomfort that comes from doing the hard thing alone. That's where you grow. That's where you find out who you really are. And that's the only way you'll ever touch greatness. The hard truth is, you have to become so strong that even if the whole world ignores you, you stay locked in. You stay focused. You stay driven because you're not doing it for them. You're doing it for you, for the standard you set for yourself, for the pride that comes from knowing you're built different, built to last, built to endure, built to thrive in the dark when everyone else fades away. Greatness isn't a moment, it isn't a highlight reel, it's not a viral clip. It's a lifetime of silent, unseen, painful work. It's a lifetime of showing up, of doing the ugly work, of suffering quietly and standing tall when nobody is around to notice. If you need someone to tell you good job to keep going, you've already lost. If your drive comes from the outside world, from a pat on the back, from a like, from a compliment, you're weak, you're soft, because the second that praise disappears, so will your effort. The second that applause stops, you'll stop showing up. That's not how savages are built. That's not how greatness is forged. You don't become a monster because somebody said you could. You become a monster because you refuse to be anything else, no matter what the world says, no matter if the world says nothing at all. Most people are chasing the wrong fuel. They're chasing external validation. They're addicted to it. It's like a drug. They get a little hit, a little recognition, and they feel alive. But when that hit wears off, they crash. They burn, they question themselves, they wonder if it's all worth it. They let the opinions of others dictate their output, their effort, their self-worth, and that's why they lose. That's why they never become unstoppable. Because they're chained to something they can't control. They've handed over their power to the world around them. They've made their own greatness conditional. A savage doesn't give a damn about external validation. A savage is fueled from within. A savage sets their own standard and refuses to lower it for anyone or anything. They don't need a trophy. They don't need a crowd. They don't need someone telling them they're doing a good job. They don't need their name shouted from rooftops. They need one thing and one thing only, the mirror. They look in the mirror and ask, did I keep my promises to myself today? Did I show up when I didn't feel like it? Did I push past the pain? Did I go the extra mile even though nobody would know if I didn't? If the answer is yes, that's all the validation they'll ever need. External validation is a trick. It's a setup. It tricks you into thinking you're doing enough. It tricks you into thinking you've arrived. It gives you a fake sense of accomplishment before the mission is complete. It softens you. It tells you you're good when you're barely scratching the surface of your potential. And if you listen to it, you'll get comfortable. You'll start believing you're better than you are. You'll start coasting, and the moment you coast, the moment you let off the gas, somebody who doesn't give a damn about praise will rip everything you've built right out from under you. If you want to become truly dangerous, you have to divorce yourself from the need to be seen. You have to get to a place where you don't care if anybody ever notices what you're doing. You have to do it because it's who you are. Because you refuse to be anything less. because excellence is your standard whether the world claps for you or spits in your face. You have to be so locked into your mission that the outside noise can't touch you, can't move you, can't make you question yourself. That's real power. That's what makes a savage different from everybody else. Every time you chase external validation, you're letting someone else control you. You're putting your destiny in their hands. You're saying, I'll work hard if you notice me. I'll stay disciplined if you approve of me. I'll keep going if you tell me I'm good enough. You're putting your entire future on a string that someone else holds. And the second they get bored, the second they forget about you, the second they move on to the next big thing, you're left empty. You're left questioning why you even started. Internal drive doesn't fade. Internal drive doesn't depend on anyone but you. It's built by getting up when you don't want to. It's built by doing the work when nobody is watching. It's built by setting standards so high that even when you achieve something, you're already thinking about how to get better. Internal drive isn't about rewards. It's about identity. It's about becoming the kind of person who demands more from themselves than anyone else ever could. It's about becoming relentless, becoming savage. You have to become your own biggest critic and your own biggest supporter. You have to become the one who tells yourself the truth, whether it's pretty or not. You have to look at yourself honestly and say, this isn't good enough, even when everyone else is telling you you're amazing. You have to be willing to call yourself out. You have to be willing to tear yourself apart and rebuild stronger without anyone else even knowing you're doing it, because you know, because you care, because your standards are higher than anything the world could set for you. There's no lasting power in being motivated by other people's opinions. Opinions change, trends change, crowds disappear. What stays is the work you put in when nobody cared. What stays is the discipline you built in silence. What stays is the savage mindset that refuses to be broken by the noise of the world. When you stop needing validation, you become dangerous, because then there's nothing the world can take from you. They can take the applause, they can take the recognition, they can take the trophies, but they can't take your self-respect. They can't take your internal fire. They can't take the savage you built brick by brick in the dark. Most people will never understand this level of freedom. They'll live their whole lives trapped by the need to be liked, the need to be seen, the need to be celebrated, and they'll wonder why they never broke through. They'll wonder why they always felt empty even when they were winning. It's because they were feeding the wrong beast. They were feeding the ego instead of feeding the soul. They were chasing approval instead of chasing greatness. You have to ask yourself, are you doing this for the applause, or are you doing it because it's who you are? Are you showing up because someone's watching, or are you showing up because you refuse to be average? Are you working because it's expected, or because it's demanded by the standard you set for yourself? Only one of those paths leads to becoming a savage. Only one of those paths leads to becoming unstoppable. And it's the one where you validate yourself, where you hold yourself to the highest standard no matter who's watching, no matter who's clapping, no matter if anyone even notices. If you can get there, if you can reach the point where the only voice you care about is the one inside your own head, you become untouchable, you become unstoppable, you become savage.